pulled this team together of, as I said, national experts so that they can share with you not just their personal experience, but understand how they've applied their personal experience to helping everyone for the next foreseeable future prevent the senseless acts of violence that can impact both the public and the private sector, whether that be public and private schools, university institutions, or even in large gatherings such as churches, malls, arenas, concerts, sporting events, any time where the public is unprotected and can be. I would like for this national panel of experts to introduce themselves. I am Lauren Fast. I will be your moderator today. And I will start with our wonderful friend, Frank from Colorado. Frank, introduce yourself and share a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I'm Frank DeAngelis, and I'm a Colorado native. And I started my career in education in 1979 at Columbine High School. And I was a social studies teacher, assistant football, and head baseball coach. And then, as someone said, I went to the dark side and I became an administrator in 1996. And I became the principal at Columbine High School. And my staff said, "So now you're one of them." And so I was in my 20th year at Columbine and finishing my third year as principal at Columbine, in which a day in which my life changed forever, April 20th, 1999, something that I was never prepared for. And unfortunately, we had 2 of my students that entered the school and killed 12 students and Mr. Sanders. And so it was at that time I stated that I just joined a club in which no one wants to be a member. And unfortunately, that membership continues to grow. And I stayed on 15 years after that tragedy, because when that event happened and I was just trying to figure out everything that happened that day, which I couldn't, I had to rebuild that community. And I felt in retiring in 2014, I've done that. And even though I am failing retirement, I continue to reach out and help these other communities going through this. And it's just an honor to be here with this outstanding panel today, because we can make a difference. And I made a promise, it's Columbine represents a time to remember, but it also represents a time to hope. And once again, thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Julie, Dr. Julie also, yes, right?
Yes.
Dr. Julie Lauk, share a little bit about why you are on the panel today.
Well, I'm a retired superintendent from Indiana. I actually entered education in 1993 after a career in law enforcement as a police dispatcher. So I have a little bit of law enforcement background in that regard, but I retired in 2020, and I am a school certified safety specialist in Indiana. And I did my dissertation on averting incidents of school rampage violence. And I did a qualitative study and have always kept school violence and school safety at the forefront of everything I do. So I also am very honored to be here today to offer whatever I can to the discussion.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Chief, welcome. Thank you for this panel. Share with us the level of expertise that you bring to this discussion.
So my name is Tony Pustizzi. I'm the former police chief of Coral Springs in Florida, sister city right next door to the city of Parkland, which had, unfortunately, in February 14th of 2018, the Parkland massacre at Stoneman Douglas High School. While we were not the responsible agency to handle policing in that city, me and my staff responded to that horrible massacre, and were instrumental in getting into buildings, looking for the shooter, and subsequently making the arrest. So ironically, I retired. I was at the Coral Springs Police Department for 30 years. I retired 3 weeks after on a planned retirement from this massacre, but thought I was going into retirement, but really felt it was important to get the message out on what lessons learned and help, like Frank said earlier, help the next generation of officers and school administrators to understand better ways to be prepared. And that's what I do now. I travel the country doing that.
Mr. Tom Swip, share the perspective that you bring to this conversation.
Thanks, Lauren. I appreciate it. And thanks for moderating today. So I'm a 30-year technologist. So I grew up in the technology industry, cut my teeth with United Parcel Service back in the 90s when we were putting tablets in the hands of drivers before tablets were even a thing. So we've been working on mobile devices for quite some time. Currently, I am the Vice President and Chief Technology Officer of Guard 911, where we offer a mobile panic button solution for school shootings. So we are trying to help get officers to the scene of the tragedy as quickly as we can.
Wonderful. Thank you all for being here and sharing your variety, your varied perspectives, so that we can work to train and mitigate future instances.